Okay, good. And then this, remember we spoke about this. Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. And from yesterday to today, how do you manage to apply, if there is anything?
Just family.
So this has become a focus now.
Yeah, so like whenever I do something, I always thinking that it's good, it's for the family, you know, as well. So you do everything. And you must let them learn, making dua for the kids,
Yes,
with them sitting there and letting them learn everything.
mashallah. So you know what's happening right now? You always had it, but now that leadership quality is becoming refined. So it's a process of refinement of the leadership quality that is becoming more zahir, more external, more manifest. Oh, sorry. Oops. Thank you. You get what I'm trying to say? Are you? Okay, good, mashallah. Anybody else have anything to share from yesterday's session?
During the refinement,
Hmm.
okay. During the refinement, will the ego and nafs rebel?
Yes, very greatly. So when we're trying to refine the self, like I was mentioning yesterday, right? Because they are very, very used to you having them as a tool to work with, to function, to overcome problems, their retaliation will be very great. You literally will be able to hear and to see and to feel the ego's grip on you. And so example, misal, why do I need to listen to him? Misal, or even prayer, misal. Let's say, take something very basic, prayer. So maybe we become a bit more lax in prayer. Sometimes we're tired, etc. But then we ask ourselves, is it the trick of the ego that's making me delay my prayer? Or is it, am I really tired? Most of the time, trust me, is the trick of the ego, not wanting to go to Allah. So when we actually realize this, the amount of shukr we should have that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us to pray to Him. Because if not, can you imagine how powerful the ego would be? Very, very powerful. The ego is very deadly, not powerful. Qudra, power is with Allah, but this is deadly. The power that Allah, it's all from Allah. Allah gave it to the ego. Why are we going through this? Because the dunya is a place of test, Allah has mentioned. For us to refine ourselves, to attain, number one, so when you do this, you keep refining the self through leadership, through what you're actually doing is you're refining the ego. A refined ego is one who has ma'rifatullah. Because the more you know yourself, the more you know your Lord. Man arafa nafsahu, faqad arafa rabbahu. So it's not just taking knowledge to know Allah. Learning Tawheed, learning Aqidah, learning this, learning that. But we omitted the process of learning the self. So let's say an example, we can have all the knowledge about Allah, but the ego becomes the biggest hijab. And the veil of the ego, most of the time, we won't know it unless and until we struggle with it, or against it. So literally, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has names like Al-Zahir, which means He is the most manifest. Yet, how come we're not able to understand Him or be close to Him? So this fella here, the shaitan, he's working on this most of the time. That's why, like we've mentioned yesterday, he creates this illusion. So the process of, like example, Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani yesterday, how did his mother raise him? What were the three fundamental points? Shazana, Zuhud, Ibadah, Taqwa. So taqwa becomes last. Notice that. But in this day and age, we are forcing for taqwa. How can one be a muttaqeen if one is not an ibadi? a worshipper, an abid. But how can one be an abid, a worshipper, if one is constantly drowned in dunya? It's not a zuhud, a zahid. In today's world, we've put zuhud last. So the love of the world, example, can be small things. I know my teachers always, we were learning hikam of Ibn Atta'illah Skandari. So it was mentioned by our teacher, he said, instead of asking, how close you are to Allah, what maqam you're at, among Siddiqeen, Salihin, all this, ask yourself, where do you place Allah in your life? Then you would know how close you are to Allah. So tasawwuf and tariqah is a constant muhasabah, a reflection of how close we are to Allah and what we have allowed to come in between ourselves and Allah. So there's 4 things. Good, Qayyum, you see? Questions open up more. Su'al miftahu ilm. Questions are keys to knowledge. Very important. Questions are very important. Good. Brother, anything you'd like to ask?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay, good. Anything you would like to share from yesterday?
First of all, like how everything boils down to the 4 ego, nafs. Ego, nafs, dunya, and waswas, shaitan.
Yes.
And how we can reflect and always remind ourselves that every time, every action will ultimately distill down. Another thing was, how we were worried about, of course, the devastating things that's happening in Palestine.
Yes.
We can actually help them by helping ourselves first.
Exactly.
So that's really insightful as well.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anything you'd like to share? No.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Brother, any points you'd like to share from yesterday's learning?
Okay, Sheikh. So say example, one finds his ego. See how you said like there's a veil. Okay, say example now, alhamdulillah, the veil's like lifted, and because you've been going back and forth with your ego,
Yes.
so you kind of know yourself with the ego.
Yes.
So then that's when the nafs comes into play, isn't
Correct.
it? Okay.
So you will start to notice there's a difference. This is a good point. The difference between ego and nafs and shaitan. Ego and nafs. So first, let's go to the nafs. Nafs is only focused on one thing. So let's say the nafs likes to eat, and now I feel like lamb shank kebab. Method. The whole day, I will only be thinking about lamb shank kebab. That's it. That's the whispers of the nafs. Shaitan, he won't do that. Now is lamb shank kebab. 2 minutes later is what's good? What else? A pide. After that is another type of shawarma. After that you go for fruits. After that you go for this. You're always. Can you imagine this? Let's say you're getting ready, right? You want to get ready. You are running around your house, not knowing what you are doing. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes.
Like, I want to go out by 5:30 p.m. Mithal. Okay? At 4:45, you're watching the TV, you've gone to the bathroom, or you go to the kitchen, but you're not doing anything at all. Nothing is accomplished in those times. That is the disturbance of shaitan. This misplacement, this disorganized of the self is the work of shaitan. You get what I'm trying to say? But the nafs has a different thing. The nafs is only concentrating, so it will go all out to get that one thing. So you watch, like food channels today. People travel around the world just to eat one food. That's the nafs. When I was growing up, we only had one cooking show. And that Yen can cook. If Yen can cook, so can you. It's legendary. Everybody knows it. It's the only one. Not everybody is cooking. So it is the zaman of what? Nafs. So before even we talk about sihr and all of these things, shaitan is already putting out all of this around us. Even if we don't talk about the end of times, huwa adu'un mubin. He is the most manifest enemy. And that is what is disrupting our iman, our taqwa. That's why the mother of the Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, she emphasizes this first, zuhud. Don't be someone who's successful. Like I was saying yesterday, alam. Australia, mashallah, has a lot of nature. Beautiful, mashallah. Use it as a way to contemplate about yourself, because you cannot contemplate on Allah using just alam. It will bring it only to a certain, far. But what you need to do is use the alam to detach yourself from the dunya. Then use that to contemplate on Allah. What we're trying to do is we're trying to compare. Oh, this Allah grew this, or Al-Khaliq. Allah did this, As-Sabur. That's not contemplating, that is just labeling. That's just labeling. But contemplation requires a deeper aspect of the self. You get what I'm trying to say? Imagine if you go to the nature. We're now from the city, misal, and we come with our family. So the children bring all of the heaviness of the school, right? School is this, doing that, running here, doing a lot of things, 1,001 things. And trust me, in schools you see a lot of this. Anyway, why? Because that's the main target. Children, once you get them young, you're done. Well, now you bring them to the nature where all they have to think about, because you can only look at nature around you for a while. The whole purpose of that is so that you're disconnected from your dunya, so that you start to focus on the self. The mind is now more relaxed. It is not busy with the dunya. And Australia has plenty of this. So what do you do while you're in nature? Sit down, make your heart do dhikr. So there's 3 types of dhikr. Dhikr al-lisan, dhikr qalb, wa dhikr al-nafs. The breath. I encourage all of you to start with dhikr of lisan first, until you find a guide, a sheikh, that can guide you with the dhikr of qalb and the dhikr of the breath. Simple, when you do dhikr, etc., if you're able to, sit down, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, sit down and say La ilaha illallah in your chest, on your chest area. I did this the last time we came here. We focus on the chest. Reason being, go back, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ هَذَا صُدُورِ, the chest. Because Allah did not use the word qalb wa fu'ad. You see, so what He's trying to do is the sudur also includes your thoughts. He tries to capture you with your thoughts, make you think about this, channel your thoughts to something else, and do this and that. This is the khannas. The khannas is the shaitan that is responsible for all of this waswasa. Once we overcome this, then you will be able to identify. So the ego is about me. There's always a resistance in doing things for no reason. In helping people, in praying, in making dhikr, in reading Quran, whatever it is, the resistance is not because they are thoughts. If you notice this, if you look at home, maybe some children, they have problems in accomplishing things because there's a lot of voices. Some children, you see, they have a lot of, they only want one thing and always that one thing. So that's the nafs. And some, they say, there's nothing, it's just, I don't want to do it. That is what? The ego. It doesn't need a reason, because I am who I am. So it's a challenge to Allah. That's why Fir'aun got what he got. Fir'aun said, Ana Rabbukum A'la. I am your Lord Most High. He doesn't need a reason. No, he's declared himself as God. Wala'udhu billah. But the servant is one who declares himself. As a Muslim, we declare ourselves as servant, because Abduhu wa Rasuluh, following the authority. Remember, we spoke about authority. Very important. This is something that I need all of you to always. Authority. Very, very important. This authority is who? Sayyidina Muhammad. We are the ummah of Sayyidina Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which means he is our imam, our murshid, our guide. Everything is he, Sayyidina Muhammad. Anything you have a problem, that's the first place you should run to. Make your durud, right? Whatever durud, I understand there's a diverse crowd here. For me, I have a favorite durud. And some might not agree with the durud, it's okay. It's called Salawat Nariyas. I like that. Allahumma salli salatan kamilatan wa sallim salaman taman ala Sayyidina Muhammadin alladhi tanhallu bihi al-uqad. It is making strong emphasis on the rank of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's not comfortable, then do ummi. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin nabil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Up to you. What you're doing now is you're tapping into the authority of prophethood of Sayyidina Muhammad. So right now you want to go to an example, I want to go back to Singapore, right? If you look at your passport, someone has to sign that. Someone has to give authority to the passport. You know who? You see the passport here. The President of the Republic of Singapore requests all authorities to allow the Singaporean citizen name in this passport to pass without delay or hindrance, and if necessary to give all assistance and protection. Whose authority is this? The President, not just the immigration. So now you want to travel from one state, as in situation, to another. Imagine if you have the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not just his dua, but it is a dua that comes with authority. That's why we say in the verses, أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ وَأُولَٰئِكَ الرَّفِيقَ. That means the ni'mah of Allah is upon the prophets. You want this ni'mah. And then the Siddiq, the truthful ones, the shuhada, the martyrs, and martyrs has many definitions. Salihin, the people who are pious, they have received this. But it all stems from the authority of who? Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Understand? So this is authority key. This is key. With authority, now Shaitan has casted his nazar, his sight on his victims. How he makes them feel unwanted. The society doesn't want me to fit in. I need to change this way. I need to change my, my gender, etc., etc. Everything I have to change. This is the common conversation we hear today. That is him coming with his authority and his stamping on everybody. He's making a seal. Then we deprive of affection and unlovable. Makes you feel that you don't get enough affection. Makes you feel that you cannot be loved. So even before we look at people who have problems like, they're not speaking in the right voice, suddenly his eyes change, etc. That's already the extreme. That's already too late. The signs that we should detect within ourselves and the people around us are this. Do they feel unwanted? Do they feel not belong? Why? What's making them feel like that with Islam, with Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Once we detect this, then what you can do is make dua. If you notice, I have not prescribed any recitation yet. I want all of you to look into the power of dua. Now make dua with authority. Don't just make dua. So let's say you're a brother, right? You have younger siblings. The brother is the one who replaces the parents. So if the parents are not around, the eldest is the one who becomes the parent. That means you have authority on your younger siblings. Imagine the dua of one who's like that. Allah gave you that amana, that rank, so it must come with accountability. All these are important. It's not just reading the things. All this is what we need to do to create this fortress and to protect our family. Why? When we protect ourselves, we're protecting our family, and when we protect our family, we're protecting the community, and when we're protecting the community, we're protecting the what? So the family is the micro ummah. All this while we're looking at it separately. Like I was saying yesterday, and we all maybe have communities based on ethnicity. But when we use this model, you can still maintain your ethnicity, but you're working towards a common direction. I'm South Indian, from Bangladesh, we got brothers from South Africa, etc., from Malaysia, Indonesia. We all know we have to work towards one direction. Yeah, I need to protect our micro ummah. And that's very important. We're not even talking about business or anything like that. It's just at a spiritual level. So, just wanted to share with you what we have been doing back home, and maybe this is a project, maybe our akhi can pick this up, inshallah. Ahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. Okay, khair, mashallah. Marhaba, marhaba, please. So what we have back home is what we call the Imdadul Ihsaniyah. The helpers of our khanqah, our jama'ah. And here I have listed specific du'as that I need. Mithal, Ya Allah, I pray for a strong, here, start with that. Ya Allah, protect my murshid from shaitan, from jinn, from fitna of dunya, and from akhirah, from illness of zahir and batin. So all murideens make dua for their teacher. So there's about 40 or 50 of them that is daily making dua for me. Why? Because I need it. I cannot be arrogant. I make dua for you. I'm all powerful. No. We are fakir. We need the dua. So if a person that is leading a jama'ah is being attacked, don't you think fathers are being attacked? Mothers are being attacked? I'm a student of religions as well, so I study other faith, Buddhism, etc. So I was reading this book. There was this man. He was a preacher, basically, like a Christian preacher. So he's like very famous. He converts a lot of people, etc. And one day he went to this town and he couldn't convert enough people. And what happened was there were two ladies there. They knew him. They knew him through like media, not through, like, they didn't know him as a friend or anything like that. The next day, they sat down and they prayed for 5 hours for someone they didn't know. Like how I know Brother Ansari, I just know he's a preacher in his prayer. 5 hours. That day he became very successful. How long have we sat down and prayed for our teachers and our parents? Rabbi Fili wa walidayya warhamhuma kama rabbawna saghira. Alhamdulillah, Ameen. Our parents fed us, clothed us, everything, their whole life. We just gave one ayat, khalas, I've done my part. You get what I'm trying to say? Our teachers always tell us, you want success in your life, pray for your parents. And we must pray for our leaders. The last time I came, about 6 months ago, I asked the Jum'ah congregation, I said, how many of you pray here for Sheikh Riyal? About 10 people raised their hands. But how many people does Sheikh Riyal have to attend to? The entire community. Then can you imagine the entire community is, whatever we come with goes to him. Then we're asking why he's not here, why he's very late, he's not professional, he's not, he's not like the CEO. He's not a CEO, he's an imam. Shaitan don't attack CEO. Shaitan attacks who? Imam, Mashaykh, your fathers and mothers. Because why? They want to protect the family. But then we recite one ayat, khalas. My friend, there are many asbab, many reasons for dua not to be accepted. Most of the time, our du'as are accepted not because of our ikhtiyar, Not because of our effort, but because of Allah's rahmah. His mercy, He accepts our dua. If you were to look at what we are asking and the sins that we have, oh, cannot compare, the sins that we do and the things that we ask. Ya Allah, please make my son the greatest orthopedic surgeon in the world, Ya Allah. After that, we go and backbite our uncle's son. Useless fella. How the dua is going to be accepted? That is the ego and shaitan working together, blocking the dua from rising. The hadith that talks about what blocks the du'as, one of them is the hadith of the Prophet that is given to Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And this you can find in Bidayatul Hidayah. Right, the amal was rising up so high, luminous. First level of Jannah, the angels there said, stop. Throw this amal back at the face of the one who did it. Why? Because I'm the angel that guards the amal, the deed of one who done namima, backbiting. You get what I'm trying to say? So these are small things that if we were to reflect from yesterday's points, what we can do. So dua silahul mu'minin. Dua is the weapon of the believer. Wa imdaduddin, it is the pillars of the religion. Wa nuru samawati wal ard, and it is the light of the heavens and the earth. So how can your dua not be accepted? You tell me. So back to what we've been doing. So we've got 40 people. Finish. Okay. There's no azan yet.
We need to move from there.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Okay, khair, no problem. ما في مشكلة. Can, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so after Maghrib, we'll go up, inshallah. There's another event here, inshallah. So we just go up, inshallah. Okay, so we need to leave now.
We need to set up the chairs now.
Okay, can. No problem.